Sup guys, Heeking here, bringing you a video regarding the Last of Us 1 remake leak. That's terrible. But hey, that's coffee for you. But yeah, so guys, before I start, remember to like and subscribe. And yeah, we're going to be talking about the leak that's just happened out of the blue. You know, it's not like it's the first time that Naughty Dog has a leak for one of the most anticipated releases. But hey, you know, it's become a common thing for them now, hasn't it? It's like it's a thing to expect at this point. So yeah, I want to put this here. So yeah, where do I even start with this? I didn't think I would end up having to do another rant video regarding Naughty Dog and The Last of Us. I thought I was done with that crap. I was like, yeah, the sequel came out, it was bad, you know, everyone realized that Naughty Dog are a bunch of lying scumbags, and then Neil Druckmann is a bullying, egotistical moron. And yeah, surprise, surprise, it's happened again. So yeah, the leaks for this game, a little bit of leaks have come out that show you the graphical updates that they've done and the gameplay features that they've supposedly put into this to improve it, you know, to make it sort of similar to Last of Us 2. Except that's not the case. For those of you who are unaware, this game was being developed by a different studio. And then Naughty Dog came and took that project over because, technically speaking, it's their game in the first place, and they decided that they would remake this themselves. Okay, now a lot of us at this point in time assumed, oh, it's just going to be a graphical update, okay? It's going to be like a glorified remaster. There really isn't a lot you can do with this game, except to make it look better on the PS5, and to add gameplay features from The Last of Us 2 to it, and maybe rework the ending to make it fit with The Last of Us Part 2 perhaps, which is the changes a lot of us assumed they were going to do. Well, no! That is not the case, no. See, a lot of us, including me, were kind of like, this is probably just going to be a graphical enhancement. That's all it's going to be. It's you know, they're going to release this. It's not going to have any big major improvements. And if they do change anything, you know, besides the graphics, it's going to be the ending of the game, right? Well, I can sort of confirm right now. So far we have no idea if the ending is still the same. We have no idea if they swapped, you know, Bruce, the dark mixed sort of skin doctor, for Jerry, the white savior of the human race. No, we don't know if they've done that. We have no idea if there's an happy cameo in this. We know nothing about the ending. We have no idea how untouched or how similar or how different it is. What we do know is that the graphics, which are supposed to look amazing, don't really look amazing at all. You know, I've seen some of the images that people have floated around, and it's like, look at these amazing graphics, and it's like, no, these graphics aren't that good. There's some improvements, mind you, but when it comes to certain character models, it doesn't look like an improvement. Joel looks like a crack addict. Seriously, he doesn't look good. Ellie looks much older for a 14-year-old. Sarah looks like an old lady. You know, the best comparisons I can make is she looks like slightly like Evelyn from Resident Evil 7 in her old lady form. Bill looks like the only one that looks good, like looks improved, surprisingly. Like, yeah, Bill, like, yay, my favorite character. He's the only one that looks good in that game. Everyone else so far that we've seen of, they look terrible. They don't look right. But that's, you know, that's far besides the point. Forget the graphics, okay, for 1 second, because graphics aren't everything. You know, graphics don't make a game great. You know, people will argue, well, graphics are everything, graphics are this. No, not really, okay? The Last of Us 1 already looked visually amazing. The remaster polished it up a little bit and made it look even better for the PS4. This, it's a mixed bag, but you know what? I don't particularly care about that. What I care about is the gameplay. Have they improved the gameplay? Have they actually taken the gameplay from Last of Us 2 and implemented it into Last of Us 1? And the answer might not even surprise you, actually. Or maybe it will, I don't know, depending on which crowd you're in. But it looks like they haven't. Because the gameplay videos that they've shown off makes the game look, yeah, like a waste of time. See, it wouldn't be a problem. It wouldn't be a problem if this was just a graphical enhancement that they were deciding to release for like £30 or whatever here. No, The problem is the fact that they're selling this for, at least in the US from what I understand, they're selling this for $70. I think it's like £60 or maybe £80 here in the UK. But they're selling this for $70. Okay? Let that sink in. This is a remake to a game that only came out about 7 or 8 years ago. Already has a remaster that still plays and looks good. And it comes without the multiplayer. It comes without the multiplayer. It only comes with some slight graphical improvements that might not even be considered improvements since the character models look like crap half the time. And it doesn't even come with improved gameplay because the gameplay looks like it's the exact bloody same. Someone posted leaked a layout of the controls. So, yeah. What's the gameplay improvements? I mean, what's going on here, Naughty Dog? Like, you said this would be an improvement, and instead it's not. It's like, you know, no, Druckmann, we're gonna do right by Ellie and Joel. Trust us. Yeah, we trusted you, and you ended up delivering a golf club to Joel's head. And you ended up giving us one of the worst written stories in a video game ever done. You know, people are sitting there, oh god, the story is mind-breaking, it's amazing. It's not. It's not. And I'm not gonna go over it because I'm sick to death of discussing this game with people. I really am. I don't care anymore about talking about the story. It's bad. Okay, let me put it this way, right? If you can accept that Game of Thrones Season 8 was a pile of shit, you know, writing-wise, that Doctor Who Seasons 11 to whatever has been bad so far. I mean, the fact that they're bringing back the original showrunner who, you know, brought the series back in 2005 or 4, if you will, that tells you something. That tells you how bad it is when they have to go and bring that dude back. The fact that people can admit that, you know, the Rise of Skywalker was a terrible freaking movie and destroyed everything that the sequel set up, then yeah, you can sit down and admit that this game is bad, it's written badly, but why is it that this is the only thing where everyone's got, like it's divided people to the point where it's got its defenders? It's like, what? What? Why? Why would you defend this? Why? Because it's got a progressiveness to it? Because it's got gay characters to it? Last of Us 1 had gay characters. Everyone liked that. No one complained about that, but for some reason this takes the cake. Oh, because we play a big strong white woman. Oh, wow. You know, you realize there are several games where you play as a strong woman, right? Lara Croft, Aloy. Give me a second, okay? Give me a second. Joe Valentine from Resident Evil, Claire Redfield, Ada Wong. I don't know, a Mass Effect trilogy. I mean, you can customize your character. They got a female shepherd. Fallout, I guess. I think that counts, does it not? What else do we have here? Nier Automata. That was freaking great. I mean, that had a revenge plot. Most of the Final Fantasy games, like, it didn't do anything new in that regard. And at the end of the day, you spend half the game playing as a psychopath instead. You know, a psychopath, a rapist, you know, because that's what Abby is. Like, she's a psychopath, she's a rapist. I mean, I'm sorry, if you're one of those guys who doesn't think that what she did with Owen, taking advantage of him while he was drunk and not thinking straight, if you don't think that was rape, then whoa boy. Oh boy, do I feel like very nervous being around you. I feel nervous for a woman being around you if you didn't think that was bad. And for Neil to sit down and be like, yeah, this is the heroine, this is my hero that I created. That is disturbing on so many bloody levels, okay? The fact that hardly anyone seems to realize that element in the game, like, wow, I mean, people lost their shit when Wonder Woman did it in the 1984 sequel, but wow. But yeah, I'm not going to go into it. I'm not going to go into that because I'm sick and tired to death of talking about it. I'm sick and tired to death of hearing about it. This is about The Last of Us 1 remake. And everything, you know, everything that's been leaking and coming out about this game so far tells us that, yeah, Naughty Dog lied again. They lied. Which is not surprising because this isn't the first time they've done it, okay? They've lied before, they lied with The Last of Us 2. Hell, they lied with the original Last of Us game. I mean, remember when they first showed that hotel gameplay all those years ago? And, you know, it looked incredible, and then you played the final version of the game, and a lot of the animations and sort of interactions that happened in that demo didn't in fact happen in the final build of the game. So, you know, that was a bit of a manipulation going on there. And let's not forget that trailer that they released where at the end of it, you know, Joel looks like he's infected and then Abby is about to shoot, Ellie's about to shoot him. and then that didn't happen at all in the final version of the game, because you know they lie, they try to trick you to, you know, emotionally trick you into thinking, oh yeah, the main character's gonna get killed by the girl that he's trying to protect, etc, etc. That didn't happen. And then they did the same thing again with Last of Us 2, where it's like, oh yeah, you know, Joel's gonna be a main character in this game. He's gonna help you. He's gonna guide you. And then it turns out to be what's his name, Jesse, instead in that scene. You know, Joel died way earlier in the game. Like, yeah, you know, it's not Dina that's gonna get killed off. It's him. Like emotional manipulation with their trailers and their advertisement and their marketing. It's not the first time they've done this, and it wouldn't be surprising if it's Neil Druckmann who is part of all of this marketing stuff that he did. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was responsible for the first game's marketing in some ways, and he was definitely 100% responsible for the marketing with this game. It's like, yeah, we're not going to spoil the surprise. Yeah, you know, it's gonna shock people, and that's what it is, shock value. And no one likes shock value, okay? No one likes that shit. People hate it, and it's one of the main reasons why The Last of Us 2 is looked very badly down upon, because that's all it is. It's just shock, shock, shock. There's no build up to the game. Nothing is built up to. Shit just happens, and it's like, oh yeah, you're meant to think it's good writing. No, that's not. That's how Game of Thrones died. Okay, that's how it died, when it started, you know, thinking that shock value is what people tune in for. Like, no, they liked the build up to it. They didn't just like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened. Wow, it's like, I didn't see that coming, and that's the problem. You didn't see it coming. You know, a good death is one that you see coming from a mile away. A good death is built upon. A good moment is built up, and that's not what Last of Us 2. And surprise, they've done the same thing again with this game. Like honestly, $70 for what is just a slight graphical enhancement with no multiplayer and no gameplay improvements. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? Like, why is this game even being sold for $70? Why? Why? It's not like this is on the same level as the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes. I mean, you know, 3 wasn't all that great, to be honest. It wasn't. You know, that should have been sold cheaper for what it was. But at least that came with a multiplayer. At least that had multiplayer. Do you know what I mean? It's not as great or built up from the ground up as the Final Fantasy VII remake Part 1 was. So what's the excuse for this game? I mean, I don't know. What remake came out that was cheap? Medieval remake? I mean, that was cheap, wasn't it? Like, it was just a graphical enhancement with some added features, but it was cheap. You paid for it, you bought it. I think that was the same case with Crash Bandicoot, the Insane trilogy as well. Like, graphical improvements, some slight gameplay improvements. There you go. It was cheap. It wasn't $70. At least I don't think I paid $70 for that. I certainly didn't pay $70 or pounds, if you will, £70 for the freaking Medieval remake. No, like, those were cheap. Those were cheap. Hell, even when they remastered the Resident Evil remake and Zero HD collection, that was cheap when it was released. Like, they had to improve that slightly for the you know, PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 consoles. Those weren't fucking like overpriced. So why is this overpriced? Why is this overpriced? For what? The pretty little graphics. Who gives a shit if the gameplay's still the same? Like, I want to pay to play a PlayStation 5 game. I expect gameplay improvements. I expect to be able to sit down and play this like I would be playing The Last of Us 2. Instead, it's just Last of Us 1 with pretty graphics. I might as well just play the remaster then, or buy the original game and play on PS3. Why would I waste my time with this? And it comes with no multiplayer. It's got the DLC. I don't give a shit. What's the point? No, seriously, what is the point? I want you to give me a reason why it's so priced. Like, what is the purpose here? And you know what the purpose is? Because it's the main thing that makes the most sense when you sit down to think about it, right? It's because The Last of Us 2 was a bloody flop, sales-wise. But Heat King, it sold 10 million copies. Yeah, that's the problem. It sold 10 million copies for a sequel. For a sequel, okay? You know what game sold just about, you know, close to 10 million copies, but was considered a flop by Sony, no regards, you know, no less. You know what game? Days Gone. That was released on the PS4, it was a PS4 exclusive, and it only sold 8 million copies. Where's the sequel for that? It was cancelled. You know, they didn't want it made. That was a flop. In Sony's eyes, that game was a flop. 8 million copies in this day and age is considered a flop. For a PS exclusive, that is considered a flop. And you're telling me that 10 million copies to a sequel to one of the most award-winning games, to one of the most beloved games is considered a success. A game that was released with no multiplayer in it, by the way, that the majority of people didn't like, that ended up going into bargain bins and, you know, being sold at lower prices or part of deals. You're telling me that was a success? 10 million copies for a sequel to one of the most award-winning games. That's a success. Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me right now? That is not a success. After 2 years, no less. When this game first came out, when the sequel was released, it sold, I believe, 4 million copies in its first week. 4 million copies. And then after that, there was nothing. Ghost of Tsushima came out, Spider-Man came out, Horizon Zero Dawn, and then Forbidden West just recently came out. All of those games, they kept having their prices, their sales updated through the months. Last of Us 2, we knew nothing. We knew no idea how much it sold overall in that first year when it ended, and we had no idea how much it sold or was selling going forward throughout the second year until a few months ago when, you know, when we had that event and Neil Druckmann came out and said we sold 10 million copies. After 2 years, you finally came out and you told us we've sold 10 million copies. Wow. 10 million copies, and that's supposed to be a success compared to Days Gone, which sold 8. Just 2 million more. 2 million more is considered a success more than Days Gone. Are you kidding me? A sequel to what is considered one of the best games ever sold 10 million copies and it's considered a success. No. Let's not beat around the bush here, people. Let's not sit there and like go, oh yeah. It's like, no. 10 million copies sold for a sequel, especially the Last of Us sequel, that is not good. That is a flop. That is a waste of time. Sony would 100% not be happy with this. And it's no surprise that Naughty Dog would try to find a way to get some sort of investment back after that failure. In which case, we have The Last of Us 1 remake. It's their attempt to try and gain back some money after the stuff they've lost, after the sales they lost with The Last of Us 2. That is why that game's, you know, being made by them and is coming out. And one of the reasons why it's being sold possibly at that full price, because they want to get their money back, because they know that dipshits who loved The Last of Us 1 and the dipshits who laughed, you know, sorry, did I say laugh? I meant loved The Last of Us 2 are going to pay a lot of money for this, and they are. I mean, if you go on their store, right, if you go on the Naughty Dog store, I think, you'll find that the Firefly edition, which goes at $100, was sold out. So people are buying the game. They are buying the game. But it makes me curious how many of those people are going to cancel their pre-orders when they realize that this so-called remake is actually not an improvement gameplay-wise. That it's just the same basic game that they can pay 11 or 20 pounds for to get on the PS4, you know, the remastered edition. Like, how long is it going to take for them to realize, oh, well, it's not worth buying then, is it? Like, what does it have to offer? Oh, it's got part 1 in the title now. Oh, is that it? Is that the only improvement you made? Just graphics and a part 1 title, that's it? That's the improvement? Wow. $70, guys, here you go. $70, suck my cock, guys. I'm Neil Druckmann, I can do whatever the hell I want. Here you go. Buy my game. You're gonna buy it. I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not a bloody idiot. I'm not gonna spend that much money for something that I already own, that I've already played, that plays still well after, what, 8 years? Why would I waste my hard-earned cash for something that is just a glorified, you know, remaster with a paint job? That's what it is. It's not a remake. It's not a remake like a Resident Evil remake from 2002 was. That's a remake. That was released 6 years after the original game on the GameCube, and that was amazing. Graphical enhancements, gameplay enhancements, features, bonus modes added in. Expanded areas, story, lore, new characters, etc, etc. What the hell is this one doing? What is this doing besides graphical enhancements? Nothing. So why are you calling it a remake? What exactly have you remade? And you've got the people from Naughty Dog come in, oh, this is one of the best games I've ever worked on. It's amazing. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. It's up there with Resident Evil 7 and other games that I've worked on. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, you fucking useless, spineless little bitch coward. Like, seriously, how is this happening? How is this happening? Naughty Dog needs to be up there. It needs to be up there as one of the best game developers in the world. And next to Neil Druckmann and his idiocy, He's brought the company crushing down. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next few years it closes. I wouldn't be, because they can't come up with a good new IP. They're freaking finished. Last of Us is dead. You can sit there and go, whoa, no, Heat King, it's still alive. It's barely surviving. It's on its last legs, okay? The only thing it's got going for it now, if this remake is literally what the leaks are suggesting it is, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna make Naughty Dog look even worse than it already is. The only thing it's really got going for it is that TV show, and even then you've got the fair share of, you know, fanboys, you know, again, split down the middle, who aren't gonna see it because, you know, that's not what they want, and you got the ones who are gonna be dishing their money in to, like they would to a strip, and be like, yeah, I'm gonna consume this. This is what I want. I'm gonna consume. Why? Because it's woke. It's progressive. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck. When did games and media turn into this? How did we let it happen to come to this point where it's like, yeah, you need to be progressive in order to be, you know, in order to make it, you know, because that's what it's about. It's like, no, games are about being fun. They were about being creative. They were about taking us on a journey and making us feel things, whether it was to feel shit or to feel good. But at the end of the day, you know, at the end of the day, I could, you know, finish a game and be like, well, at least that was fun. That was something, and I can't wait to play it again or see what they do next. But Last of Us 2, just stabbing you through the heart 24/7, and then it tries to make you care. It's like, no, I'm not gonna care for this. Why would I care when I'm playing half the game as a psychopath? Why? Like, what am I supposed to like about this? The characters are cliche, they're stereotypes, racist, homophobe. Yeah, it's really surprising, by the way, when people try to throw in the homophobic, transphobic bullshit to people. Like, oh, you're racist, you're homophobic, you're transphobic. First of all, remind me, right? Remind me what character beat up the two bisexual lesbian characters at the end of the game. Remind me which of the actors is a known racist that hates white and straight people. Yeah, there's an actor in this game. If you didn't know this already, one of the actors of this game is actually a full-on racist to white people and straight people. Take a wild guess who it is. And remind me again what character it was that ended up raping her lover, if you will. And then you say that you know, the ones complaining about this game are transphobic and homophobes and that. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What? What? That's hilarious. Honestly, it's hilarious. It really is hilarious. It's very disturbingly worrying that people who play this game have their eyes closed to what's actually being portrayed, to the point where they can't realize that. Hold on a second. Well, it's like that meme. Wait a second. Are we the bad guys? Yeah. Yeah, you are the bad guys. You don't realize it, but yeah, you are. You're playing as a freaking psychopathic, rapist who beats up lesbians for fun, who enjoys torturing children, who stabs her friends in the back. That's Abby for you. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Abby, by the way. And yeah, Lev. Everyone likes Lev, right? I mean, he's a trans character, so yeah, he's a great character, because no, you do realize that actor is racist, right? You have seen his Twitter feed, right, from a few years ago, where he was going on about, you know, hating white people and straight people, right? Like, how is this person getting work? Why is this person getting... Well, you see, if you're trans, you can't be racist or offensive. What are you talking about? You can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. He's white. You know, he's Asian. He can. Well, you know, well, he's not. He's not racist. He's not homo. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? No. 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 How can you allow this? How do people not realize this bullshit? Like, oh my god. Oh my god. Seriously, like, people have deluded themselves into thinking that this game is like great. It's not. It's not. And now Last of Us 1 is coming out, the remake is coming out, and it's doing the exact bloody thing. It's like, you've been tricked again. You've been tricked. Naughty Dog lied to you, like they obviously would, to try and get your money, and here you go. This is what you wanted, here you go. Like, a game that's not even a decade old, that, you know, with no improvements. Are you kidding me? Like, holy crap. Holy crap, like, I'm disgusted. I really am disgusted. Like, it just, you know, people just shock me and they confuse me. It's just very confusing. It really is. It's very confusing that what can I say? Like, how can you play a game like this and then at the end say, oh yeah, I sympathize with this character? I bet you do. I bet you sympathize with this character. I bet you sympathize with beating people half to death. I bet you sympathize with, oh yeah, let's choke, like, let's kill a pregnant lady, and then say, yeah, good, and take pleasure in it. Like, if the character had been written as a villain, then I could respect and understand that. But when you're writing a character and you're trying to write them as a good person or a hero, that's just not going to work anymore. Especially when you write them in such a way where they're very hateful to the point where it's like, that's not a good character. Like, a villain, yeah, fine, it works. But when you're trying to demonize other characters at the same time, to try and make your character look perfect when they're not, like, I'm really curious how the writing process for this went. Like, how can you write this and sit down and go like, oh yeah, it's like when I'm writing stuff, like, or at least I'm trying to write stuff, you know, I'm trying to make sure that I write my characters in a certain way. It's like, okay, I want to write this character so people will hate them. I want to write this character so, you know, he's bad, but, you know, he's got some good flaws in there, like, people can relate to and understand. I want to write this character to be a piece of utter crap. Like, I never try, well, at least I've not seen a lot of films where someone tries to write a character in a way where it's like they're the hero but they're scumbags. Imagine if you sat and watched Death Note, right? And at the end you're like, yeah, Light is the hero of the story. It's like, no, he's not the hero of the story. The whole point of Death Note is the fact that, you know, the guy, you know, the main character is actually the villain. And the character who you think is going to be the villain is actually the hero. That's kind of what Death Note is. Like, someone who's just like allowed himself to be corrupted to the point where he's pure evil, and then you got the other guy who's in his own way he's sort of like corruptible, but he's trying to do good. It's like that's what it is. Like in the end of the day, he's a villain. You know, you don't go around killing a bunch of innocent people. You know, I mean, sure, he started off killing bad people, fair enough, but when he started killing innocent people, it's like, yeah, you're not the good guy anymore. And the story expects you to understand that. I mean, if you agree with him to a certain point, fair enough. I can understand certain aspects, but like, he's not the hero anymore at this point in the story. So, like, what the hell? It's kind of like similar to, I don't know, Snape from Harry Potter. Like, everyone likes Snape. I like Snape. Is he a good character though? Like, good as in terms of like, he's good. He's not evil. Is he a good character? He That's a bit hard to say, because to be honest, he's an asshole. He's a great character. He's a very great written character, but he's not a good person. Good God, he's not a good person. Not at all. Yeah, he's done some good stuff, but let's not forget all the horrible shit he did and the horrible shit he continued to do as a teacher to his students. Like, he was still an arsehole. Like, he did some good, but he's still an arsehole. Like, do you know what I mean? He's not a villain anymore. Fair enough, that's good, but he's still an arsehole. It's like sitting down and sympathizing with freaking Voldemort. Like, oh yeah, but you see, he had a very tragic backstory. He had a very bad childhood. You know, I kind of feel for him. Like, yeah, I get that, but he's still a psychopathic serial Nazi like inspired killer. Like, he's freaking Wizard Hitler. I can't relate to that. What? Like, you can't sit there and go like, oh yeah, he's great. Like, no, he's a freaking psychopathic. What? What's wrong with you? Like, it's like the Joker. Like, if you think the Joker is great, like, yeah, he's a great character, but that's not change the fact he's a psychopathic murderer. Like, this isn't a guy to root for. Do you know what I mean? Like I get the whole like root for your villains, and yeah, I get that, and that makes sense. But don't sit there going, oh yeah, this character is like, yeah, like, no, and that's kind of what Abby is. Like, she's not a good character. She really isn't. And she's not a good hero either, because she's not a hero, and she's, you know, she's a shitty written villain, because, you know, that's not what she's been written as. That's the problem with the game. It's got a lot of inconsistencies. And then, oh my God, Last of Us, man, Last of Us, what did they do? Like, look at me, I wanted to talk about the Last of Us 1 leak, and I'm talking about Last of Us 2, like, you can't do one without the other at this point, you know what I mean? Like, that's how tainted The Last of Us 1 has become by its sequel. Like, you can't go on one without the other, do you know what I mean? And yeah, it's reached this point where it's like, yeah, it's the same with Game of Thrones now. It's like, It's like I can't sit and watch the early seasons anymore because of how bad the later seasons tainted it. Because you know where the journey is going, you know where it's going, and it's like, well, this is bloody pointless to watch now. Like, I know how bad it ends. Like, what's the point of me wasting so many hours of my life now on this? Like, there isn't. Like, it's piss poor. If something is bad, like, and this is the most important thing that people will never realize. You know, you could have a very crappy sort of beginning and middle, for the most part, but if the ending is really good and it makes up for it, then you're gonna have a good time. Like I mean, look at like what's a good example? I can't really think of a good example here. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. Maybe the Star Wars prequels. You know, like episodes 1 and 2, they weren't really that great, but episode 3 sort of did a good job with that. Like, it built up to all of that, and it managed to wrap up in a satisfying way. At least it did for me. I love episode 3. But then you have episode 7, 8, and 9. It's like, okay, you start off decently enough, and then it just goes downhill from there. It's like you were building up to something, and then you just threw all of that away to retcon and tell your own crappy story that fans would eat up. It's like, no, it's not what we wanted. That's not what we expected. It's like, you don't get it. You just don't get it. And it's the same thing here. It's like Naughty Dog, Neil Druckmann. I need to get a new camera. It keeps cutting off, man. But like I say, Neil Druckmann, Naughty Dog, they just don't get it. They don't get their fans. They don't care. Which is another thing. Like Neil Druckmann, man, he's a terrible human being. Honestly, he is. Any guy that sits and writes a character like this, and it has that moment between her and Owen, and doesn't call that rape, as far as I'm concerned, you're a terrible human being. Like, the fact that you do not realize what you've written and done, and then you don't say anything about it, it's like, no, that is, you're a scumbag as far as I'm concerned. And you're even a worse scumbag when you go on Twitter and then you write in and trying to defend your work, and you're getting angry at the fans who don't like it. You know, and then when something happens to another studio, he goes in and is like, oh yeah, like, again, leave the fans alone, blah blah blah. Like, what with that recent thing with Monkey Island or whatever, like Treasure Island or Monkey Island, whatever it was, and people lost their shit, and rightfully so. I've never played the games. I'm not a fan of it. But the fact that the fans were so insulted by what they were saying, and they were like questioning the director or the developers for that, you know, telling them right off, and then you had Neil defending it. It's like shut the fuck up and go away. You liked The Rise of Skywalker. You supported Game of Thrones season 8. You're not the best person to talk to on a certain level, like in terms of understanding what you know. You don't know shit. You're not a smart person. You're really not. You're the worst kind of person to talk about this stuff. Point is, the fans have every right to be upset, okay? Like, even Henry Cavill, I think, said this recently, where, like, fans are passionate. If they're passionate, it's because they love the subject so much that they want people to know, like it's bad. Like, you know, make it better, improve it. Look at Sonic. Look at the Sonic movie when it was coming out. That first design they had for Sonic was abysmal. It was disgusting. It was horrible. That's not Sonic that people know and love. And the studios actually listened, they improved the design, and guess what happened? People loved it. It's not the best movie in the world, but people loved it, and they loved the fact that the studio respected them enough to go and do that. And then they went to deliver what I think is, well, I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard it's a very good bloody sequel. So obviously the fans are pleased, they're happy. So yes, if you listen to the fans, you are going to get rewarded, because then the fans will feel appreciated, because it shows that you care. Look at Hideo Kojima. Like, he's never gone on a rant on Twitter. He makes a game. He goes online, he does his thing, he never criticizes, he never hates on his fans. He loves his fans because he knows his fans are what made him famous. He knows that he is, you know, making a game for the fans. And he even says it, you know, like, this game might not be for everyone, but I hope you'll like it. And if you didn't, well, fair enough. Like, and he takes the criticism to heart. MGS4, it's got too many cutscenes, not enough gameplay. I personally loved MGS4, by the way, guys, but still, he took that into consideration. Okay, the next Metal Gear Solid games are just going to be strictly focused on gameplay. There you go, Peace Walker, Metal Gear Solid 5, less story but more gameplay. Was that a flaw? Yeah, but end of the day, he still listened. We wanted more story. We want more story from you. We want something different. Death Stranding, not your typical action-adventure game. He made something new, he made something different, and fair enough, I liked it. It's not great, personally, but I liked the game for what it was. You know, I wanted a Hideo Kojima game, I got a Hideo Kojima game. Thank you. He doesn't go around shitting on his fans. You know, I went to meet him back in 2019. I was in a freaking long queue. I didn't think we were getting to see him because, you know, you had to go and catch his flight. What happened? He cancelled his flight. He came out, he saw the queue, he was like, okay, there's a lot more fans here to see me than I anticipated. I'm going to cancel my flight and try and see as much more as I can now. And yeah, got to meet him. It was great. Some people didn't, but they got a reward. You know, they got like exclusive stuff that they wouldn't have gotten if they managed to see him in the first place. But at least he cared enough to do that for them. Do you know what I mean? Like, he cares. This is a guy who cares about his fans. Does Neil Druckmann care? No, he doesn't. He doesn't give a shit about his fans. He cares about himself, and he cares about his stupid woke beliefs, because that's what it's all about for him now. Like, forget the fact that he drove Amy Hemming and Bruce Stanley out of the company. Forget the fact that 70% of the original Naughty Dog employees left the company, and apparently, most of them have joined up with Bruce and his new studio. By the way, congrats to Bruce for that. Well done. But yeah, he doesn't give a shit. You know, work crunch, being dismissive to employees, game testers when they told him, yo, this isn't right. Like, you need to change or improve this. Like, he doesn't care. He only cares about himself and what he's making. He doesn't care about the fans. Oh, he's a scumbag. He just cares about the money. And even then, he didn't get the money because the game did fucking poorly. Like, a game that comes out and then in a few months after is in a bargain bin, like, or it, you know, has its price reduced. That's not a great game. Like, if it was selling very, very bloody well, even now today, it would still be selling at a high price, but it's not. It's one of the cheapest games you can buy right now, like, because every few weeks or months, it's got a freaking price drop. Like, I'm pretty sure Ghost of Tsushima is still selling to a certain extent. Not anymore now, but it was selling to a certain extent. But Last of Us 2, it's like, yeah, come and get it. Come and get it. It's for everyone, because they're trying to get rid of the stock now because it wasn't selling. 10 million copies? 10 million copies isn't shit. For a game like this, it's nothing. And they realise that, and they're trying to save themselves with this remake, and now they're fucking up with this remake. It's like, well done, well done. You're digging yourself even more of a hole, you fucking idiot. You stupid scumbag that you are. Like, wow, it's just, wow. Yeah, that's my rant, guys. I mean, what more can I say? Like, I really didn't want to go on another rant like this, but here I am, because, yeah, people need to know. People need to know what a scumbag he is. They need to realise this. They need to realise that he's not a good game developer. He really isn't. Maybe he's like George Lucas. You know, you need someone there to sort of lower him down to a certain level so he can actually do some magic, maybe. But, you know, that's what Bruce did with him when it came to Last of Us 1. But, I don't know, this dude has no one. He's by himself, he's at the top doing his own little thing. And even then, Lucas, you know, while he did some crap stuff, like, he still did some great, like, do you know what I mean? Like, at least the prequels are consistent compared to what we had with the sequels. Like, Neil, he's inconsistent in every way. Like, how do you go from Last of Us 1 to Last of Us 2? Like, how does that happen? How does that happen? Like, how does that... There's no balance there, do you know what I mean? It's not balanced at all. It's like, wow. It's insane. It's insane. Like, it's unbelievably insane. Yeah. I'm very curious what's going to happen now. I really am. I'm very curious what the reception to this remake is going to be like. I mean, it comes out in 2 months. Like, it's coming out in September, for Christ's sake, right? In 2 months, this game's going to be out, and already there's leaks for it. Yeah, it's like, and people are going to notice that, oh, the gameplay isn't improved at all. Like, it's the same crappy game like that we had like nearly 10 years ago. Like, wow, what did you actually improve with this game? Nothing. Here you go. It's like, you're gonna buy it regardless because we're Naughty Dog and you like The Last of Us. Like, no, that's no. Sell it at a cheaper price, and then maybe we'll actually consider buying it. But $70 for this? $70 for this? Are you kidding me? I think that's the worst offender, by the way. Like, the fact that they're selling at such a high price, that they're trying to trick and manipulate people into buying this game at such a high price. Like who do you think you are? They're acting like they're the best video company in the world just because you got a few awards and shit. Doesn't actually make you good. You know, there's movies in the Oscars that get awards and they're not actually that great. It's like, oh yeah, this movie won Best Film of the Year. This won Best Director. This one, like, was it actually the film of the year though? Was it? Was it? Or was it just like another typical, stereotypical movie? Like, come on. This is, you know, people think awards mean something. They don't really mean much. You know what award meant a lot? The People's Choice Award. The fact that people voted for Ghost of Tsushima to win. And personally, I didn't think that game was that great either. Like, I think that game's personally very overrated. But it still won because people, mostly the majority of people, preferred that game more than they preferred The Last of Us, and that says a lot. That says a lot. Okay, like. You can tell that the award system is screwy, same as the Oscars. Like, you know, if you let people vote, they will vote for the thing they love the most, and it certainly wasn't The Last of Us 2. Like, so, you know, you gotta keep that in mind. I know what some people would say. Well, you know, if people could vote in the Oscars, they would most likely vote for a Marvel movie to win, which is probably true. Yeah, very true. But people would likely vote for that, and if it's a good movie, yeah, why not, right? But if it's like a stereotypical piece of like typical Marvel, then it's like, no, that doesn't deserve to win. Come on, like I expect something like better. Do you know what I mean? Than that, like, you know. But the point I'm trying to make is that, you know, The Last of Us 2 wasn't that great. People's Choice Award kind of showed that. The fact it's only sold 10 million copies, the fact that selling Last of Us 1 at such a high price when really it should be cheaper than that, like much cheaper than they're releasing it for. Like, something is wrong. Something is very wrong. And the fact that the gameplay hasn't been improved, in fact, like, and the fact that there's still leaks coming out, like how are leaks happening? Like, after Last of Us 2, how are they still allowing leaks to happen? Like, this is clearly an inside job at this point. It has to be. It has to be. There has to be someone in Naughty Dog that's just like, yeah, let me get these guys over. Like they couldn't have been hacked. They couldn't have been hacked. Otherwise, it like other studios or whatever would be like. You know, there's just something wrong. You can tell there's something wrong inside Naughty Dog itself, and it's like, what is going on? Like, yeah. Jesus. Well, guys, that's my rant. That's over with. I'm done. Yeah, we'll see what's gonna happen with the news. We'll see how it goes. Remember to like and subscribe, guys. And as always, yes, I will see you when I shall see you. Take care and bye.